Well, I had plans to do some outside work today, but thanks to back-to-back thunderstorms every single day for probably the last 7 days, we've got to go inside. And coming just from this direction, on the radar about 10 miles away, is some red, yellow, and lightning. Let's get inside, get the shop doors closed up. All right, y'all, so just because it's about to be storming outside does not mean we can't be productive. I've got some custom tools. Yes, tool that I want to build in today's episode that's going to save me some big money. I was getting ready to splurge on some aftermarket heavy-duty welding clamps, and then I discovered I can build them myself thanks to my CNC plasma table. I've also been working on some address signs for somebody, and I have a very special one in here that I'm also about to cut out. We'll probably do that at the end of the episode. I'm going to bend some tabs so this can be mounted to a wall. It's got some nice relief. So we've got several things to build. Let's get started, let's have some fun. I am looking forward to building these heavy-duty welding square clamps right here. All right, so let me start off by saying I downloaded these files, but I'm still putting them in my CAD and CAM software, gonna verify adjustments, adjust anything as needed if I see any issues, and then post-process these for cutting on the plasma table. You're gonna see after we cut out and build this, I'm gonna build a large one and a small one. Then we're gonna weld some outside ellipse on, and these notches right here are semi-welding clamps, can go in and clamp, but we can clamp 90-degree sections. We can put stuff in this direction, flat bar. I'll show you how these work after we build them. So I've got some scrap 3/16 plate steel right here. It should be plenty robust enough for this type of job. And I've got it set up on my Langmuir Crossfire Pro plasma table. Man, I love having this. And I'm gonna be using my Everlast 102i plasma cutter right here with the CNC torch to cut all this out. So I've got room over here, I think, to utilize some of the scrap that I have to cut a small mega square out, and then we'll cut the really large one over here. I want to go ahead and build two today because I am always needing these, especially for some upcoming welding projects. Let's go ahead and get the pieces we need cut and welded on. So I'm going with thick 3/8 bar for my outside clamping surface. 1/4 inch would be fine. It just wasn't available at my local welding shop, so I decided to go on to 3/8. Definitely can't go wrong with heavy duty working items like this to go even thicker. All right, so gotta go on the outside there. All right, so as y'all can see, we have everything buttoned up. Let me walk you through how these work right here. This is a set of clamps that I have needed for a very long time, and these are extremely robust, heavy duty, should outlast me, no doubt about that. And we can do some serious clamping and welding and creation with these. So if you take a look at these smart type of clamps right here, again, aside from being very robust, they're designed for clamping. That's what all of these cutouts are for right here, is so you can put clamps in different areas and you've got the relief cut for that. So if you just want to put a 90-degree angle, say, doesn't matter what type of material, it could be flat bar, could be angle, or square tube is something very, very common for me. Say I just want to weld in a joint right here. I have 245s. You put it where you want it. Put your clamp in, clamp it. Same thing on this side. And now I can go in and lay my welds in, and stuff should not twist and warp on me because it's clamped in nice and heavy. There is no way tacks or welds right here are going to twist and bend 3/8 steel that's heavily reinforced with this plate in the middle. Just not going to happen. So now we can come back and clamp on this side. Just imagine if I had my cuts correctly, we could come back and do a 45. Say if I had two 22.5-degree cuts on the end right here, now I can come in and weld that out. All right, so you see this middle section right here. Another brilliant design about these clamps. Just, I could use any type of flat bar. So say I put 2 pieces of flat bar in like this. Now I can weld the outside of the joint and the inside of the joint because of this relief section that's left right here. Just brilliant design clamp, really is. These are going to be so helpful. All right, so let's get this sign loaded up. We got my 14 gauge sheet on. We got to make quite a few adjustments. I'm cutting the sheet that thin. Utilize all the sheet metal I can, even though that's kind of some older scrap. It's going to be perfectly fine for this project. Just push my sheet down. Double check all of my spreadsheet settings that I've made. Pretty big sign, so I'm not worried about putting in a small tip and going down to like 20 amps and fine cutting. Just gonna leave the tip in that we just used to cut the other stuff out, and I think we'll be okay. All right, let's kick it off, see what happens, see if I designed this correctly. And I got some special bendable tabs in this I designed as well. All right. So I've got to make some metal bends here because the customer wanted relief off the wall, 2-inch relief, so the numbers really stand out, and they want to be able to screw it into the wall. So I'm gonna have to make some bends. Sadly, I'm doing it an old school way that I'm about completely done with. One of the things I've been desperately needing in the shop is a shop press so I can make nice, precise bends like this and not rough and beat stuff around with a hammer, which is just not gonna make good sellable parts. This is probably one of the last times I'm gonna do this. I've made my mind up. I don't care if I'm buying one, sponsored, whatever. I am getting a shop press in here and very soon, because I have so many things I want to build on this table that's going to require bends, some stuff being bent out of like 1/4-inch steel. So I'm going to need a pretty significant shop press. I don't know if I'm going to look at one of the cheap 20 tons or go ahead and do 50 ton. Yeah, it's putting a pretty crude bend in, and now I don't really have the workroom for this. Yeah, now I got to pound that back out. I'll do it on the table later. This is not a good way to do this. Now the even tougher part that I don't even know if I can do. Let's see here. I might get lucky. I gotta make a bend in the exact opposite direction. This is where a sheet metal bender and a press, either one. I'm probably gonna wind up getting both as I do more metal work. I need one of both. Alright, now you can see what I'm making here. Tabs where this can attach to the wall and he can get the relief that he asked for and requested. Alright, we come over here and take a look at these address numbers that I built for someone. Again, I'm not getting into small scale work like this, not what I got a machine for like that, but this is just an idea of some of the stuff that you could do. I did this because this is somebody that's close to us that I wanted to help out, and they requested a 2-inch relief. So imagine this, it's hard to see on a dark surface right there. Put it on a light black ground. Now you can see how the numbers really pop, being reliefed off 2 inches right there. We've got bent end tabs so they can put some masonry bits in. This is going on the side of a brick house, but it looks really good. Instead of just being flat against the wall, that relief behind it's going to make those numbers pop. Then of course I've got them some small ones built for, this goes on a wooden fence, this goes on a mailbox, this goes on a house. This is all requirements for their HOA, and now they get some good look custom signs for that. All right, this was a fun little episode. It has done stormed 4 times today. This is one over a couple days. I've been having to lock myself in the shop, and the next 10-day forecast is still showing nothing but storms and rain. So while my outside work is being limited, doesn't mean we can't be productive on the inside. And the cool thing is I have my first real paid job that I'm already currently working on. We're gonna bring you along for that as well, for this machine's gonna start making me some money. I've got about 30 to 40 custom parts to make for a very large corporation, I guess we'll call them. Now all the parts are going to be exactly the same, and they're very simplistic, but they're custom to their specs, something they're not making in-house that I'm making for them, and it should be quite profitable for me to help start putting a dent and get me back some of my investment in this machine. We'll share that whenever it's time. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.